Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today I want to talk about this article I just came across. This article from Political is talking about the Biden administration is thinking about implementing a nationwide rent control. All right, so let's get right into it. Let's take a look at this article. White House prepares new tenant preparations, alarming housing industry. With a possible recession looming, the Biden administration will be looking for ways to provide relief for cash-strapped Americans suffering from a higher cost of living. The White House is preparing to roll out new measures as soon as this month to protect tenants in the wake of post-pandemic price spikes, according to housing advocates and industry lobbyists who have met with administration officials. We're already seeing across the country, nationwide, rent is actually heading down. Right, the last peak for rent was the month of July. Right, so we're looking at 4 or 5 months, 5 months or so of continued price declines in rent. If this administration implement this, it will be a disaster. All right, so you have a few Democratic politicians who are pushing for this. They actually sent a letter to the Biden administration asking them to implement this. All right, so Elizabeth Warren and Jamal Bowman of New York. All right, so let's take a look at what they're saying. Democratic lawmakers, including Senator Elizabeth Warren, are leaning on the administration to go big by curbing rent increases at millions of units in properties with government-backed mortgages. A long shot move the White House is not seriously weighing, according to a person with knowledge of the discussion. Yeah, guys, I honestly don't think this is a real thing. I don't think this is gonna go anywhere. All right, and part of this that they're talking about government-backed mortgages. All right, I think later on we're gonna go into this a little bit into this article, but that's Freddie and Fannie. You know, who are the people who hold the majority of these mortgages? Okay, we're talking about middle-class people. A lot of them are minorities, blacks and Hispanics. Let's keep going. Let's see what's going on here in this article. Jamal Bowman of New York says, people can afford to live, said Representative Jamal Bowman of New York, who spearheaded a letter last week with Warren calling on President Joe Biden to issue an executive action limiting rent hikes in properties backed by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, or Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the government-controlled mortgage financiers. We want to push the president as far as possible to lighten the burden of rent on everyday people. These politicians, I mean, they probably mean well. So proponents of this bill makes this argument. They say, even after falling from its July peak, the median asking price in November was still 20.9% higher than it was at the same time in 2019, before the pandemic struck. According to the latest monthly report from Realtor.com, about 53% of tenants said that their rent has increased by more than 100% per month over the last year, according to the latest household purse survey by the Census Bureau. Rent was increasing even before COVID, Bowman said, adding that many of his constituents spent over half their income on housing. Yeah, I understand. Things are really hard for a lot of people out there. I mean, look, you know, there's inflation, food prices are up, rent is up. People are really having a tough time right now with this inflation. But we're seeing that inflation is making its way down, is on its way down. And I could understand why this argument is being made. So the counter argument and other people who disagree with this, and this is what they're saying. Even as demand eases, the market is about to see a surge in supply, portending additional price cuts. More apartment units are currently under construction than at any point since 1970. A lot of rental supply is going to be completed in 2023. We're going to see more completion than we have in 40 plus years, says Jay Parson, chief economist at RealPage, a property management software provider. The balance of power really has shifted towards renters. They're going to have more options, more competitive pricing, and better deals. Now, I tend to agree more with this last part of this article here. I think we are going to see a lot more building, a lot more construction, a lot more apartment housing, especially in cities. that are going to come online either this year, 2023, or 2024. But even though I don't think this is a serious inquiry, I don't think the Biden administration is really going to take this seriously. But here's the thing to think about, right? We've done this before. During World War II, FDR had implemented a nationwide rent control, all right? So with all this war brewing in Ukraine and the conflict in Ukraine and Russia, Germany the other day just declared war on Russia. U.S. sending weapons to Ukraine, crossing red lines of the Russians. This thing can really flare up into a possible global World War III scenario. Okay. And if something like that does happen, inflation is going to spike, it's going to affect oil prices and so on and so forth, right? And so Biden can, in essence, step in and do exactly the same thing FDR did during World War II, So I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just throwing that out there. It's just a thought of mine. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment in the section below. Hit the thumbs up. Share this video with your friends. Thank you for checking me out. I'll see you soon.